What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land, and today I have something a little serious to talk to you guys about regarding Nintendo. So, first off, it is very slow for the company. As you know, we have no games announced for 2020, and we really don't know what to expect as we go on throughout the year. And of course, with the ongoing crisis and things just completely blowing up around the world, it's kind of hard to predict when games will be announced. But I have been really considering something, and it doesn't quite feel like this virus that's been going around is the main culprit to why Nintendo's not revealing any of their information, and it's kind of bothering me, and I felt like I really needed to make a video discussing what could be the true reason Nintendo hasn't been announcing things. Well, let me take it all the way back and talk about what's been going on. So first off, it's been almost an entire year since the last new game announcement from Nintendo. That was last year at E3. And that's the last time we heard about anything coming outside of Xenoblade Chronicles. That's it. We really haven't heard of any big game announcements. Even the Direct that followed didn't give us anything new. It just talked about, like I said, Xenoblade Chronicles, and it just covered some games coming out that fall. There really hasn't been anything else. Animal Crossing has been being covered for a very long time, and there just hasn't been anything since that besides Xenoblade. And it's kind of getting on people's nerves now. We're almost a year into this without any announcements, which is crazy to even think about. We've been waiting for a main direct for well over 200 days now. We got our mini direct. It didn't feel like anything but more like a slap in the face, like you guys wanted something, here's something. And it more felt like they were trying to just get games out from their third-party companies. The third-party companies said, hey, we need our games to be shown off at this time. You know, they're coming out soon. So Nintendo just threw them all together in a direct and then threw in a couple of small first-party stuff like, here's an ARMS character coming to Smash. And we didn't even get the ARMS character revealed. But obviously, there's things going on around the world, and this is something that I wanted to bring up and talk about because I know people are going to bring it up. The coronavirus. I understand. The coronavirus is something that's very serious, and it's something that's, in fact, impacting lots of people's lives, and I understand how important that is. Lots of people are getting laid off. Lots of people have to work from home, and I understand how it can put, things into perspective for a lot of people, and I get that. I have the utmost respect for everybody out there that is dealing with this or know people that is dealing with this, and I will do whatever I can in my power to help, but at the same time, things don't seem quite right because it looks as if things are getting better. Things are starting to open up here in May. In just a couple of weeks, we have stores opening up in Ohio. We have shops, malls, everything's kind of reopening, and things are getting better. And believe it or not, we have already been through some of the toughest times. The last couple of weeks have been the toughest weeks of the virus, which is going to get a little weirder when I tell you some information regarding that, because it's just like, why is there still a game from Nintendo coming out in the midst of all this, just in a couple of weeks? So some companies are still moving on, though. They're still creating games and working and trying to, let their fans know what's going on. For instance, a prime example of this is Microsoft. Microsoft is constantly letting their fans know what's going on, what to expect, especially since they have a console coming this winter, which both Microsoft and Sony confirmed that those consoles are coming out no matter what, they said, which is kind of bold to state. But yeah, they claim that they're coming out no matter what. But Microsoft takes it a step further. They're saying that every month they're going to have big announcements up until June, which is a big event that they're still carrying on with, that was going to be at E3. And on top of all of that, they're going to have an Inside Xbox Direct-like event tomorrow on the 7th, which is mind-blowing that they're having all of these things, yet Nintendo hasn't announced a single thing coming this year. That is what blows my mind. Now, yes, Nintendo is a Japan-based company, and their culture is different. I heard a lot of people talking about how in Japan they're used to face-to-face contact with working, and they're not really, super fond on the work-from-home thing, and it's kind of hard for them. I get that. But as a company of a video game, I hate to say it, but adaptation is something that has to be done. You have to adapt with the times and work with what's going on, and these other companies are doing it. I could see if everybody was on a complete lockdown, and of course safety is first, and if there is safety precautions, and there's stuff that's going on within Nintendo, I expect them to work with those first and foremost. Keep everybody safe, that's the #1 goal. But, like I said, you do have companies like, look at Microsoft. They are doing everything in their power to keep their fans and the company updated on what's going on, even through a world crisis, which is something that's very, very great that a company can do, is just to keep the fans alert. Now, to me, it just seems like any news/presentations should be feasible at this point. Nintendo Directs are what was so special is that they just gave us news while we were at home. We didn't have to go anywhere to get it. We just logged in, we saw it on their YouTube, and we just watched. And it was all online based, and you would think that would work absolutely perfect with the current times. But it's just like they are afraid to go anywhere near a main direct anymore, and it's kind of making me think, is it more than just the virus that's causing this? Is there something that's even more that's stretching on Nintendo? Well, I looked even more. At the most, there are only 1 to 2 people in a direct, okay? And they're on screen with a green screen behind them talking about a game. Sometimes they even use a voiceover only, and there's no person shown at all. Like in the last mini direct, it was just a straight voiceover, and that's something that they could easily do. We don't need to see a person. We just want to see the games. I don't think it matters if we see Doug Bowser or Yoshiaki. It doesn't matter. We just want to see the games. It's great that they're there and everything, but in a time like this, just don't show them. And I don't know if that's the problem. I don't know if they really need someone to narrate this. I don't know. But I just don't think that's necessary. It just blows my mind I'm in a world where I'm using Microsoft as an example for Nintendo Direct, but they just happen to be doing it better right now. They just had an Inside Xbox in April, and they're about to have another one in May. And the April one, let's take a look. All the developers were from home. They were working from home, talking from home, and still able to show off games because at the end of the day, they're just trailers. So it starts to make me think, is it something more than just these games being shown off? Does it have something to do with the release date? But I just don't think so with that either. Nintendo stated at the beginning of their mini direct that some of these games could be subject to change thanks to the COVID-19 virus that's taking over, and nothing got changed. None of those games got re-released. None of those games got pushed back. Nothing changed, and including Nintendo's own big first-party game coming very soon, which is Xenoblade Chronicles Remake. It's still coming, and it's coming in just a couple of weeks, and they have not said anything to steer away from it. In fact, they've been showing it off and talking about it a lot on their YouTube channel and actually putting out trailers promoting the game, which makes it seem like there is nothing being pushed back about this game. This game is coming, and they're releasing this game still in the midst of everything that's going on. And the fact that they can't announce a game that's coming out later this year when it's probably going to be a lot better is kind of scary. And what's going to happen is that they don't announce anything in the future and things get better, they're going to be stuck in a quiet place when everybody's thriving, and they won't be because they didn't reveal any games earlier on in the year because they had thought the virus was still going on, and look now. But like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with the virus. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And I think it's within Nintendo's working where things aren't working out. But I got another example as to what Nintendo's not doing to capitalize on the times that we are in. Jeff Keighley, the host and creator of the Game Awards, actually came up with a thing called the Summer Game Fest. And what happens is it goes from the beginning of summer to the end, so multiple months of game announcements from different companies. And almost every single company has stated that they would join it and bring out some announcements. And guess the company that didn't? Yep, Nintendo. I think Ubisoft didn't as well, but Nintendo was one of the big ones that did not do it. Microsoft, Sony, they said they're in there, it's fine. And it seems like they're just taking their E3 presentations that they were going to have and throwing them into this Summer Game Fest and just chopping them up in many different announcements. This is weird because didn't Nintendo have anything planned for E3? There's no way they're going into May without any plans of E3. And maybe they didn't have anything ready. Maybe they seriously were just still working on the presentation and they got the word that E3 was going to be canceled, so they just scrapped everything completely. Because right now, there's still rumors saying that there is no direct coming in June, which makes me think that they never had much planned for E3 in the beginning, which makes me also think maybe E3 wasn't going to be big again this year. Maybe there was only 1 or 2 big announcements and a couple small games, which blows my mind how they don't have any games prepared. So as we go on more and more days without any announcements regarding games, it just is more and more apparent that it has nothing to do with the virus itself, but rather some inner workings with Nintendo and the fact that they didn't have any games ready, which is hard to believe considering the fact that they now have a portable DS team doing nothing, and they have multiple new teams that came in and teams that they brought in for some games and classics that never got touched yet. Like Donkey Kong hasn't got any type of games, Pikmin hasn't got anything. There's still series that have not been touched, which is mind-blowing that there's not games being worked on for those companies. And yes, I know there's people on Twitter, and they're going to comment on this video and say, well, if there's people out there that think that the directs are more important than health of others and they need help, it has nothing to do with that. Like I said, I have pure respect for everybody that's going through the time and everything that's happening. But at the same time, people are being forced to work, and I understand the hard times that people are going through, but companies are moving on. Companies are working and finding new ways in order to get information out to the public, and I think that's the number one problem, is that Nintendo's not communicating. They're not talking. If there is a problem, if there is something regarding the virus going on within the headquarters of Nintendo and stuff that's going on with Nintendo, please just be transparent with your fans. Say, there's something going on, we can't talk to you, or give us a time frame as to when to expect some announcements from you guys. Give us something to look forward to, because right now, as a Nintendo fan, this might be the longest year ever. Now, if it really was just from the virus, Nintendo should still show us trailers and show us what's coming in the future, at least to give us happiness in this rather low time. But they're not even doing that, and that's what makes me think that there aren't any games ready. They don't have anything ready to go yet. And I know these leaks and rumors are coming out heavily with these Mario ports and these 3D Mario games coming, but at the same time, wouldn't we get some type of gameplay shown off, or wouldn't they at least say, hey, acknowledge that they exist, since the whole world pretty much already knows they do? But no, Nintendo's not saying anything about these games, and which makes me think that these are going to be the only games that we're getting in 2020, which are, once again, more remakes. I love Mario, I really do, but you can't just have remakes going throughout the holiday season when you have other companies like Microsoft and Sony releasing whole consoles. And I know Nintendo says they don't compete, but they do. Come on, they compete, just with their software rather than their hardware. But at the time, like I said, please just announce some games coming in the future just to hold us off a little bit. It's been a year since we've really heard anything from you guys regarding new updates and new games, so just give us something. But I can go on and on and on and on and on again about why they don't have games ready, and I think that should be saved for a separate video. This video is already over 11 minutes, and I'm sure it's going to keep on going. But yes, I will have a whole discussion on that. If you guys like this, if you guys enjoyed me talking about this, and if you guys really want to hear me talk about why they should have games ready and what's going on with that. But that's what I think is going on. I just don't think they have any games ready at the moment. I think 2020 is looking scarier and scarier by the month. It's crazy how we keep going month by month by month, waiting for announcements, waiting from something, but we just keep getting like small little updates on games that already exist, like Luigi's Mansion updates, Mario Maker updates, which is fine, but there has to be some game announcements. There has to be. And with the rumors saying that there's no announcements, no directs, or anything coming in June, it keeps getting scarier for us Nintendo fans. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you agree with me? I know some people will disagree, but if you do disagree, just please calmly tell me why in the comments down below, and I'll try to have a civilized talk with you. But at the moment, like I said, I respect everything that's going on, and I do try my best to help with what's going on around the world. And I realize that it can be very hard for other people, some people than others. But at the same time, it is just kind of weird that they're not at least communicating with us and letting us know why there aren't being game announcements. And I think if they just communicate better, I think lots of people would understand a lot more. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo, and hit that notification bell to be updated on whenever I post. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.